Hey y'all, it's Liv. I'm coming at you today with a stream about what mainstream media doesn't want you to know. I tweeted the other day asking what I should do my next live stream about, and I had someone reply that they would like to see a live stream addressing how mainstream media is being used by the government to completely distract us, promote propaganda, et cetera, et cetera. So how it's a tool of the establishment to keep us docile, complicit, and staying with the status quo that will ultimately lead us to our doom. So let me start by saying this. I do not watch mainstream media. I have absolutely given up on mainstream media and have not watched mainstream media, and I cannot even remember how long. I get all my news now through Twitter. I follow independent journalists. I fact check, but I get all of my news through Twitter now. I absolutely do not trust mainstream media. And I have learned, especially over like the past year and a half, like since the beginning of COVID, the amount of information I have learned through Twitter is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. It is free. It is accessible. It is right there. And I absolutely feel more informed and knowledgeable because of getting my news through Twitter now and not focusing all of my attention or any of my attention on mainstream media now. So, for example, what mainstream media doesn't want you to know. There's a few things, quite a few things to begin with. The general strike coming up, October 15th, they are absolutely not going to cover that. They are not going to cover that because that's a threat to them, to the establishment. And if they gave that any attention, it would be exactly what we needed to get this movement going. And they know that, so they are not going to do that. That is why we need to be taking responsibility and getting the general strike trending on like every platform, and also going outside our social media circles and talking to people in person, making sure that they know that this is happening, that this is what this movement is, and what it stands for, what the demands are. We need to make this movement accessible for all, because mainstream media is not going to cover it. My biggest concern with mainstream media, honestly, is their lack of attention or concern on the climate crisis. Climate catastrophe, whatever you want to call it, we're doomed. Like, the climate crisis is here, and we are watching in real time humanity on the verge of extinction, veering towards the path of extinction. So mainstream media is not going to cover that. So, for example, I just pulled up, again, I don't watch mainstream media, so I don't know what they've been spewing lately, but I pulled up CNN on Twitter. So let's go through some of their articles. They have Steve Bannon has informed the House committee investigating the U.S. Capitol riot that he will not cooperate with their subpoena to provide related documents. Okay, so still talking about January 6th. Okay, another one about Squid Games. Another one about Princess Diana. Another one. Oh, good morning. Legos. What experts say the best time is to exercise. Journalists, who won the 2021 Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah. So, okay, here. The U.S. added only 194,000 jobs in September, adding another troubling sign that COVID is disrupting the economy. The unemployment rate fell to 4.8%. So, okay, we're talking about the unemployment crisis that's happening right now. Like, that's great. But are they going to be talking about the systemic issues that are creating this? No. Are they going to be talking about solutions to this? No, because those are systemic changes that completely disrupt and dismantle the entire establishment that is funding them. You have to remember, always follow the money. Who is funding mainstream media? And that is the elites, the top 1%, the ruling class who are funding the politicians. They are also funding the mainstream media. There is no difference. They are the same. They are specifically, here's a great example. Jeff Bezos, right? He owns the Washington Post. Like, what the hell? Like, obviously, it's going to be manipulated when the richest man in America has control of a news outlet. Like, obviously, news is going to be corrupted, biased, and you need to take your own responsibility and matters into your own hands for doing research to fact check. So, yeah, they're not going to be telling you about the general strike coming up or emphasizing how bad the climate crisis really is and that we truly are facing extinction right now. They are not going to be talking about that. So, what can we do? So the October 15th general strike is coming up. That is fabulous. This is the spark of the revolution. I truly feel like this is the beginning. The general strike happening October 15th is supposedly just the beginning of getting our demands met. And that is having a $20 minimum wage, 4-day work week, environmental regulations, and I think there's something else and I can't remember it. Oh, single payer healthcare, affordable healthcare. So honestly, these, in my opinion, these demands are weak and not at all enough to ensure humanity's survival, which is what we need at this point. So we need to be thinking about, let me think. Oh, no one's even watching right now. All right. Mainstream media is not going to be telling you that this general strike is coming up again because it's a threat to them. So of course they are not going to be telling you about this because it's a threat to the establishment who controls them. So the general strike coming up October 15th. You can not go to work. You can abstain from economic activity and or support mutual aid efforts. That is the best way to support the general strike. We need to be promoting that more. I would be taking it to Facebook. I think it's pretty well known on Twitter, but I don't know about other social media platforms. But I think we need to be taking this individually. We need to take responsibility for promoting this more and getting it out on other platforms to get it to as mainstream as possible, to as many people as possible. Also, the climate crisis. Mainstream media is absolutely epically failing to cover that because everything they are trying to show us right now is to keep us like, especially, enabling fear, to keep us scared, to keep us complacent, to keep us feeling like things are being handled, to trust the system, to trust the establishment. Those are things that the mainstream media is going to present. They're not going to tell you how to disrupt the system. They're not going to tell you what is really happening on the grounds right now in terms of trying to challenge the establishment and the system in place. So, support independent journalists. I love being on Twitter and supporting independent journalists. I would definitely get more involved in mutual aid in your community. Do a simple Google search that's mutual aid near me, and you should be able to find, all these mutual aid efforts that are happening near you that you could get involved in and help promote, mutual aid efforts while also promoting the general strike and the revolution, and et cetera, et cetera. So, because that's, mutual aid, that's another thing that the mainstream media is not going to cover. They're not going to be covering that mutual aid is available because that coincides with the general strike. And if people knew that if mainstream media was promoting mutual aid, then more people would know about it. And then they would feel the safety net that they could go on to the general strike or go on all the other strikes that are happening right now across the country. Nabisco, Kellogg, I feel like, oh, there was the one in Hollywood that was going to be happening. I think the screenwriters one. So, there are strikes happening across the country, across the world right now. And mainstream media is not going to be covering them. But independent journalists and news outlets will be. So follow them. And do your own research. Just fact check. It's really that easy. Google is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful tool. So, I would say fuck it. Saying no to cable and just doing like Hulu, doing streaming services has been the best move for me, and one of the best moves for me, my wallet and my mental health, honestly. But definitely try and get involved with that. And also, let's see. Yeah, supporting independent journalists, #free Assange. We also need to be getting more involved in like community organizing, just with mutual aid, but like other community organizing that you find, like, just going out and meeting your neighbors and asking them like what they need, what's going on with them, how are they holding up. That's how we fight mainstream media, by, coming to the people and reaching out to the people by branching out. Do not trust mainstream media. Always be skeptical of mainstream media. Always question mainstream media. Fact check. There's so much going on in the world right now. It's easy to get overwhelmed, but there is so much you can be doing right now to get involved and, make a change in the world, make a positive change in the world. And I'm actually going to be doing a live stream about this later today, about mutual aid and how you can get more involved with the communities and, help spread kindness, spread love, and help build up support in the network to get this revolution going, to get this radical systemic change we need in order to survive. So I know this was a quick stream. No one watched. Okay. I hope some other people watch it, maybe view it later. But do not trust mainstream media. Follow and support independent journalists. #free Assange. We need to be taking responsibility right now. So, fact check again. And talk to others. Spread the word, in person. Texts, calls, social media platforms, just get the word out there. Don't trust mainstream media, but support independent journalists. So thank you. Quick stream. Thank you.